Quick plug about the Pentacle newsletter. We write a newsletter every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and we gather all the latest news and articles from the web dev world. So if you're a developer, you'll definitely find this useful, and it will help you grow as a developer as you read all of these stories. So make sure to check it out. The link is in the description below. Sign up today. So today we're going to talk about two new features from the latest JavaScript version. And these versions are, these features have been out for a while now, so I really wanted to do a tutorial about this. So today I want to talk about Nullish Coalescing and optional chaining. Now, if you are on the latest browsers, you should have these features already, but if you're on an older browser like IE, you won't be able to have this feature. But don't worry, if you are targeting an older browser, you can use a transpiler like Babel to transform your code to older browsers. So for now, let's talk about Nullish Coalescing. So what is Nullish Coalescing? Well, this is I like to show you how it works by example. So basically, it's a new syntax where you do a 2 question mark and then B. So this may look very different to you because you may be used to things like A or B, right? Or A and B. But this one is new. This is A Nullish Coalescing B. So I want to show you what this means and how it behaves as we do a couple of examples. So let's define our variables A and B. So let's do const A equals, let's see the different behaviors, right? So let's say A is 1, and then we do B equals 2. So if we do a console log of A Nullish Coalescing B, let's see what the output is. So if we run this, you see that the result is 1. So now, let's say A is undefined, right? Let's say A is undefined. You see the output is now 2. So what this is doing is that this will check from the left to right side. It will check the first variable A to see if it's defined. If it's not defined, it will set the value to B. So this is what it does. So undefined and null will both work. Now, you may be wondering, what is the difference between this one and A or B? Right? So right now, if you do this, A or B, you get the same result. But what is the difference? So here's the difference. Let's say A is equal to the value 0, right? And if I run this, I still get 2 with the OR statement. OR statement means, so if A is not truthy, then set the value to B. But if we do it with the Nullish Coalescing symbol, if I run it again, as you can see, it's equal to A. So that's the weird thing, right? So instead of, remember what we had before, if we do the OR symbol, it's equal to 2. But if we do the Nullish Coalescing, it's equal to A. So why is it doing that? Well, the difference between Nullish Coalescing and the OR symbol is that Nullish Coalescing will only coalesce to the B value when A is undefined. However, A is defined here. It's equal to the value 0. Even though 0 is a falsy value, it will still evaluate to true. So therefore, the value of this is actually A. So I know it's a little confusing, but let me just do this side by side. So if you got A or B, so remember, A or B will evaluate A, and if it's falsy, so this will only evaluate to B if A is falsy. And coalescence will only evaluate to B if A is undefined or null. That's the difference between Nullish Coalescing and the OR statement. So you can use this actually to chain a lot of things together, right? So if I do console.log, let's just keep our talk about Nullish Coalescing. So you can actually chain this together to go all the way down the chain. So let's say I have a C variable, it's also null, and then D variable is equal to 2. So if I do, let's say the first 3 values are undefined, right? So let me log this out. So let's say all 3 values are undefined. If we do it correctly, this should evaluate to the value d, which is 3. So that's how it works. That's the only difference between Nullish Coalescence and the OR statement. So I want you to keep that in mind. Now, there's one caveat, is that you cannot use Nullish Coalescence together with the OR statement or the AND statement. So doing this, B or C and D, like that's illegal. You cannot combine Nullish Coalescence with the OR statement or the AND statement. So the best way to do this, if you want to get around it, is you need to add parentheses to it. Then it'll be legal, because you cannot put them on the same level of evaluation. So I hope you understand that. This is kind of new, and actually I think this is more useful than the OR statement. But sometimes you may want to use the OR statements, but it's really up to you. So that's it for the Nullish Coalescence. Now let's talk about optional chaining. Optional chaining is new, so I want you to remember how many times. So let's do optional chaining. I want you to remember how many times have you done this, right? Let's say, I don't know, a statement like this. If basket and basket dot fruits and basket dot fruits sub 0 and basket dot fruit sub 0 dot name. So I don't know how many times have you done this in your career. You basically want to be really, really safe when you access a variable that potentially could be undefined. So the only way to properly access this value, basketball.fruit.sub0.name, is to make sure that all of these values are defined first. Otherwise, JavaScript would throw error and your program will crash. Now that's the old way of doing it, and we have ways around it before ES6. You can use lodash.get, right? You can do basket, and then you can do fruit sub0.name. So this is like a safe way to access the value without crashing the app. Now lodash is nice, and the thing is, if you want to use it, you have to add a dependency and all that. So sometimes you may not want to do it. So this new feature called optional chaining will make the above much easier by giving you the ability to quickly access the values of these dangerous accessible values. So let's do an example, right? So let me comment this out. So let's say you have a variable called baskets, and let's say right now it's really undefined. So if you try to console log like some of the values that's not defined, so basket.fruits, let's just grab this example here. So if I grab all of that and then I try to run it, this will throw me an error, right? It says cannot read property 0 undefined because fruit is not defined here. So how do we get around that? Like if you don't want to do all of this check, but you still want to access the value. So the best way to do it is with the optional chaining command, so syntax. So you can do this. I can do basket, you do question mark dot fruits, question mark dot sub 0, question mark dot name. So this will make it run, and you won't have any errors. You only have undefined being evaluated because this is not defined. So this won't throw any errors on your code, and it won't crash your app. So what this is saying is, get the value fruit from basket only if it exists. Like try to access it, but safely access it, so without crashing the app. So instead of the syntax is very similar to the old syntax. Instead of something dot something, you do question mark dot something. That means that you're not sure whether basket is defined or not, but try to access the child variable, child key if it's there. So this is like an optional chaining, optional value that you're trying to access. So this is like a safe way to access these values without crashing the app. It seems like very, very handy, and so you no longer need to write things like this or use Lodash. So I find this extremely useful in the code. I'm using it all over my code. Again, if your browser doesn't support the latest feature like that, you might need to use a transpiler like Bible to transpile this back down to the old code so they can run in the old browsers. So I hope this is a quick, nice, simple tutorial to help you understand the difference between Nullish Coalescing and optional chaining. I hope you guys start using it because they are awesome. And please let me know if you have any more questions in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys next time.